Dr. Silverman is a retired foot surgeon. He lives in Delray Beach for 6 months, and he's from Maryland originally. He is on the board of the product that he's going to be speaking of this evening. I met Dr. Silverman about 3 months ago, I believe, and could not believe the information that he portrayed. And it's just, he's a fantastic speaker. You're going to really love him, and he's very energetic, and you'll have a lot of fun. So please help me welcome Dr. David Silverman.
Stay, thank you. Stay, don't go yet. So number one, she said you couldn't believe the information that I gave. Do you believe it now?
I do.
Okay, all right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm glad to be here. We had a meeting like this last night in the Klein building over on what Freedom Plaza is, and we had a lot of fun. You know why we had a lot of fun? Because there were a lot of new people that have not experienced this yet, and a lot of them had experienced this, and that's what's going to be on that board over there. I listen to topics that people, when speakers speak about health, and I can tell you that, raise your hand if this is all new to you. You know nothing about what this is, redox signaling molecules, nothing, okay? As I look at God, I can tell you that you probably haven't heard anything this important, perhaps in your life. This is more serious than most people can imagine. And because I was sitting where you are 12, almost 13 years ago. Actually it was December of 2010, when a friend of mine, who was not a doctor, an interior decorator, brought me this and said, "I love you, David, you need to know about this." I said, "What is it?" I read the bottle and it says ASEA, and it says ingredients, sodium chloride and water. What is that? Salt water. I said, "Why do I need to know about salt water?" She said, "I have to tell you what this has done for my mother. I knew her mother. She walked with a walker because of joint problems, and she dragged an oxygen tank for oxygen for breathing problems." Anybody know anybody that's got joint problems in the villages? Anybody know anybody that's got any kind of breathing problems in the villages? And she showed me her skin problem. Now I have to tell you, I will not use medical terms here. This is not a medicine. It's a fascinating story, and I'll give you a brief story of it, and I'll give you a reference. At this site, gettingyoungerclub.com, there's nothing for sale there, it's just information. Just jot it down. And also jot down wherever you see a password is needed there, you put the password in Redox, R-E-D-O-X, lowercase. I'll mention it soon. But she had a problem on her elbows and parts of her body, these patches that I know she had forever. The problem started, a silent P is the word that I started with. And she showed me and I didn't see it anymore. Now I was 50 at the time, I'll be 64 this year. I really wasn't looking at it for me. You know, we're all throwing so many things at us all the time. Oh, this is the best thing, take this, take that, do this, do that. And I've been in wellness for a long time now. My background was foot surgery, so my practice. But I looked at it for one reason. And it wasn't me. It was my father. My father had a very grave issue, type of issue. It wasn't a skin thing, it wasn't a joint thing. It was the kind of thing that no one wants to hear they have in any part of their body, ever, or someone they love. I think we all know what we're talking about, whether it's the prostate, or the breast, or the lung, or whatever. So I paid attention seriously about this to investigate it, even though it said it was made from salted water, even though on Google I saw positive things and negative things. Because number one, I trusted my friend, and number two, I loved my father. That was the beginning for me. Fast forward. Got my dad on the product, and my dad did traditional treatment at a very famous hospital in Baltimore, where he'd go and have these radiation beams shot at him for 2 months. But through the 2 months, every day of having that done, some strange things happened. One, he didn't get tired and worn out like they said he would. He was drinking this. I didn't know if it was this. Two, his joint problems didn't bother him anymore. Does anybody know anybody that feels better when they have radiation? I mean, really. I mean, So I was like, well, coincidence, I don't know. I don't know. But I decided to send people who I knew with issues to my friend Debbie. I said, go to Debbie, she's a distributor for this company, just go. I don't want to get involved with the business side of it. By the way, I'm not talking about the business side of this tonight. It's network marketing. People say, oh God, it's Amway. You don't understand. You just don't understand what this is yet. Okay, nothing wrong with Amway, but that's not Amway. But I didn't want to get involved with it. I don't want to do that. So I sent people to Debbie. Breathing problems, blood sugar problems, sleeping problems, libido problems. And over weeks and months in 2011, all these people came back to me saying, thank you, thank you. What prompted me to get on an airplane and go to the FDA registered production facility where this is made, FDA registered, FDA audited facility in Pleasant Grove, Utah, was a phone call from a friend of mine who was a doctor who was drinking this. Now he had joint problems. Big golfer, Bob's the starter here. And in fact, I got to run out of here at 8:30 because I'm in the Ryder Cup tomorrow morning. Tee time's at 8:30 in Delray Beach, and I got to be there at 7 a.m. So I'll be flying home from here in my car. But back then, we didn't have the gel version of it. Okay, the gel version is the mind opener. Okay, we'll get to this. Okay, but all we had was the drink version. So he was drinking it. Excuse me, and after 1 month, calls me and he said, this placebo is amazing. I love the placebo. He says, I'm playing golf again. I said, Dan, you're like the 20th person that told me this has helped them. I said, if this is real, and it is the breakthrough, because it works at the cellular level, that these people are saying, and the product is a breakthrough technology, patented intellectual property, I might be interested in looking at the business side of this and being part of bringing it to the world. Not the business side, let's make money, but if Debbie is helping all these people, I want to do that. That's what I went into medicine for. So I said, call me in a couple months, tell me how you're doing. If you have bone rubbing on bone, placebo isn't going to last that long. He calls me, in about 6 days he calls me, he says, not a placebo. I said, it can still be a placebo, it's only been a week. He said, no, it's not. And this is the moment when I said, this was my aha moment. You all are gonna have some aha moments here when you see this, but this was mine where I knew it was real. And it was nothing dramatic, but it was. I said, how do you know it's real? He said, I've had skin tags in my armpits for decades. Like hanging pink skin things. My dad had them, by the time he died, it was like a jungle under there. And more skin tags than hair. He said it was gross. He goes, that's what I was like. He said, I'm putting on deodorant in the bathroom, Dave, and I just noticed that they're not pink, they're brown. And most of them are gone. And he flicked his finger, he said he flicked his fingernail against it, and a couple of them fell off. Now this is a cellular health product, and we're gonna get to some slides that are really important here. But that was my moment. I got on a plane, I went out to meet the people. I needed to hear the story and meet the people, see the integrity. Pharmaceutical company tried to buy this technology, the patents and the intellectual property, and they were going to bury it. Pharmaceutical companies do a lot of good. Thank God we have medicines. But I'm not a big believer in medicines for everything. I think for crisis care, you have a heart attack, a stroke, hit by a car, emergency medicine is amazing. But most people that doesn't happen to. Most people have breathing problems, sleeping problems, mood problems, libido problems, joint problems. And Western medicine's answer is what? Pills. We're all kind of conditioned to do that. And these people said no to the pharmaceutical buyout offer. And I'm going to show you in a minute where you can see the story. It's a 16-minute movie, and you'll see. It's all this stuff is words that I'm going to do. You understand that this comes down to, does it work or does it not work? And that's very easy for anybody to prove to anybody else. It's very easy. And I'm going to go through that, okay? When I went out there and I met the people running the company, and I felt their integrity, this was in end of 2011, I said, I'm in. I'm going to do this. So I became a distributor, which is really a teacher. Right? I mean, I'm on the medical board of the company. It's a volunteer position. They're MDs, DOs, DCs, all kinds of doctors. The business side is this. I was voted Mentor of the Year by the other leaders in the company, and it says Business Builder of the Year. I look at that as just like I created a ripple effect. Debbie told me, I told people, they told people, they told people, and I helped a hospice nurse who was a friend of mine in Maryland, and she had just gotten a very bad diagnosis that scared the living hell out of her because she had, for 38 years, had seen this. I didn't know it when I called her she had this problem. So don't just, if you share this, don't just look for sick people, because either they got a problem or they love somebody that does. Well, she thought I was trying to sell her something, but she got on the product. Miraculous results. She told her friend who was a nurse, who told her friend who's Don and Linda Cheney. Where are you guys? Right there. Don and Linda Cheney are right here. They're the first ones in the villages to know about this. I came down here a few months ago and had a little meeting with people. They're creating a ripple effect. And she told Mary about this. Now I have to tell you, I am not talking about the opportunity here. This is all about the product. But once you see that this is real, you will probably feel pretty obligated to share it with people. You can either just refer people to your friend so they can be helped by somebody else, or you can have some fun with us, okay? So we are gonna have some fun. I joke a lot and I get real serious at points because I don't know who of you have something really bad going on inside your bodies. I don't. And I don't know who you love who does. You probably are gonna think of people you love and wonder if this could help them. Just when we're done, just know that I'm gonna answer questions, okay? And we can give you resources. And we have a lot of people that here can help you. Of the new people, let me ask you, of the new people that are here, raise your hand if you know somebody that has something that hurts them in their body. Raise your hand if it's you. Okay, all right, I want to know that because you're going to see some really cool stuff here. Because a lot of times, I do Zooms, a lot of times during the week, and a lot of times people come to learn about this because they've already seen something get better. This is you're probably thinking of you somewhere in your body or someone you know. One of the cool things about this is what it does for people that are hurting. And once someone has an experience with this, everything changes. It doesn't matter what their spouse says, oh, it's salt water. It doesn't matter what their doctor says, oh, it's salt water. It doesn't matter, because this is made from salt water. Because once you've had an experience, no one's going to tell you it doesn't work. Does anybody here like lobster or crab? Raise your hand if you like lobster or crab, right? It's pretty good stuff, right? If you had never had it in your whole life, people said, ugh, that's like a scorpion. You don't eat that. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. And one day, finally, reluctantly, someone says, dips it in butter and gives it to you, and you taste it. You're like, wow. Does it matter if someone says they don't like it? It's their opinion, right? We like to make people bulletproof so that they know that it works. So people come to learn about this for different reasons. ASEA is a breakthrough that allows people and animals to live younger, longer. You'll see. How many people here have pets? Anybody have pets? Were they healthier when they were younger? Are puppies like healthier than older dogs? The horses, cats. I know we're close to Ocala. So what is it that you want to know? These are the most 6 common reasons people pay attention to what I'm saying. And if they don't, oftentimes you're just walking out of the room, and that's fine too. They'll find out about it later. You got a problem yourself, you want to know about for someone you love. How many people want to look older next year? Okay, this is like it has an anti-aging outside of the body too benefit. People who want to protect their health, which is pretty smart, and athletic performance goes up. We have Olympic gold medalists on the product, and it's just I'm not an athlete. I play golf pretty much every day. By the way, is this the reason why I'm 63 and I take no medications? I don't know. People say, well, you must have good genes. Both of my parents took medicines at 63. All 4 of my grandparents took medicines at 63. I can tell you one thing. Anybody golf here? Yeah, well, I've golfed for a long time, and I would golf once a week when I was practicing, and I took ibuprofen for a couple days afterwards. Once a week. I golf every day. A lot of times I play 36 holes a day. I didn't play yesterday or today because I've been up here, but I don't take ibuprofen anymore. And the last reason is the opportunity why people look at this. But most people are interested in the opportunity once the product works. So I'm going to focus on this. And just this was my reason because my dad was ill. Just what's your reason? Okay, now we're going to get to the stuff here. This is the video that explains how it started. I wish I could go into the details. Just take the time when you go here to watch that. If what you see tonight is of interest to you. It's really important to understand what this is and what it isn't and where it came from. And thank God this man said no to the buyout. He came out of retirement at 69 to start this company. He had been in charge of international strategy of a $36 billion company that's not a health company, it's Kraft Foods. But you can look him up. But he's the one that said no to the buyout offer, and here's why. Pharmaceutical companies said, we'll buy it, patents and everything, but you have to shut down. And he said, well, what about the people who are on the product? He said, they said, they'll find something else. He said, we're not selling. At 69, he launched this company. Because pharmaceutical companies need a few things to make a lot of money. They do a lot of good. Are they in business if they don't have sick people? No, they need sick people. They need unaware people who don't know about other options that they have. They need scared people. I think we all saw what happened in the world the last few years. Frightened people clamoring for experimental medication. And I get it. I mean, you're on the vaccine side or you're not. I'm not judging anybody. I just don't know how people could, when something's developed in 6 months, say, give it to me, right? I mean, and we're seeing a lot of bad things happen from it. And my parents took it because they are older. And my dad just passed away 4 months ago today. And he had, four of them. And he was fine before that. So it's a whole other subject. But they need scared people and they need dependent people. They need people dependent on their doctors, right? If you have a health problem, you go to your doctor, right? Right? You have an issue, you go to your doctor. You're not breathing right, you're not seeing right, you go to your doctor. You're dependent on them. Well, if your doctors are unaware of other options, how could they give you any other solution other than the medications? Okay, so just take a look at that. So these two slides are the crux of what we're talking about. True health. Is true health waiting for a problem to occur and then taking medicines for that problem perhaps forever? Would you consider that true health? Good. What is our body made up of? Cells. Every part of our body is cells. There are 8 billion people on the planet. Your body's made up of 70 to 100 trillion cells. Your retina, your lung, your kidney, your pancreas, everything's made up of cells. And if your cells are healthy, then your organs are healthy and your tissues are healthy. Okay, so this is one of the two slides that really gets to the crux of this and why this is so different than a medication. And I'm going to talk about safety, proper usage, expectations, all of that, but this is important. If our cells are healthy, we're healthy. Everybody agree with that? Okay. 2, we all start getting older and we see a decline. Has anybody ever seen this happen to them? Did you see it happen to your grandparents, your parents, yourself, even your children? Okay, so 3 questions about this. Nobody escapes this to some degree unless they die early, right? If they die young, they don't go through this cycle. But everybody starts developing things. You see, well, here's 3 questions. When does the decline start? Why does it happen? And is there anything we can do about it? So when would you think the decline starts here? Does it start at, a lot of people say probably in their 30s or 40s, right? Because you start seeing more diseases, you start seeing arthritis, you start seeing eye problems and breathing problems and blood sugar problems, right? That's not when it starts. That's when it starts to really show up. You know when it starts? It starts at puberty. You know, some of you are like looking like this, and I'll prove it to you. Let's say she steps off the curb, falls, and she bangs her head, she's unconscious, she breaks her shoulder. She has surgery. I used to operate on kids, they heal quickly. Let's say she has the exact same injury instead at 20. Who heals faster, at 10 or 20? Why? What happens if she falls off the curb at 50 and she bangs her head, she's unconscious and breaks her shoulder? There's a chance she's going to die, breaking her bone head. But she'll be in physical therapy for a long time. She may have reactions that she may not, the bone may not heal. She will not heal as quickly. What happens if she falls off the curb, smashes her head, and breaks her shoulder at 85? There's a good chance she's going to die, either in the street or the general anesthetic could kill her from the surgery, blood clots, pneumonia. We just don't bounce back, right? So you can see that something happened at puberty. Why does it happen? Because something in our body declines at puberty. It's called the mitochondria. It's in all of our cells. Anybody know what that is? Who's a science person that knows what molecule that makes? ATP, somebody said it. It makes, we eat our foods and they get transported into the mitochondria of the cells and we produce adenosine triphosphate. That's been known forever. It's called the power plant of the cell because it produces the molecule we burn for fuel. So if I raise my arm, I just burned ATP, right? I blink my eyes, I burned ATP. Everything we do, we're burning energy, right? Just like your car won't work without, gasoline. Okay, so this starts to decline at puberty. We have less of them, and they're not as vibrant. So we produce less ATP. Kids have a ton of energy. She's stronger and faster at 20 than she is at 10, but number one, she won't heal as quickly. Number two, she doesn't have the unending energy. Anybody here ever played professional sports? Know anybody who played professional sports? You don't see a lot of NFL players getting past like 32. I mean, they're young. I mean, look at the average age of this room. I mean, I'm 64 this year. 32 is pretty young, but you don't see a lot of professional players. They can't do it anymore. They don't bounce back. But during the production of ATP, through this whole cycle, I'm not going to go into the science, I can give you references. There's a lot of these little byproducts that were considered byproducts during the production of ATP. Well, in the 90s, it was discovered they're not byproducts. One of them is called redox signaling molecules. Our cells make redox signaling. You're making it right now. You're making redox signaling molecules in your mitochondria. But you made a lot more when you were younger. So when you were young, you produced a lot. At puberty, you produce less. 20s less, 30s less, 40s less, 50s less. Correspondingly, look what happens to people. Their bodies break down. They don't heal as quickly from injuries. Start having joint problems. You don't see a lot of cancer in younger people. You see more cancer every decade of life, right? As we get older, you see more cancer, just the way it is. Do children have arthritis? Yes. You don't see very much of it. Children have diabetes? Yes, but not as much as adults do. Things get worse as we age. And we just do the best we can and say, well, I'm getting older. We all have potential to have a much better life if the body is given what it needs. Okay? So what's unique about this, and unique about this, is that this is this. This is not a medicine. This is not a nutritional. Like turmeric is a phenomenal nutritional. Oil of oregano is a phenomenal nutritional. Everybody should eat blueberries. This is not that. I don't have blueberries in me. I don't have turmeric in me, but I have this. But I had a lot more when I was younger. In my 20s, I had this much, 30, 40, 50. My cells are making this much of this right now at 63. But I drink this and I raise my levels up to what they were when I was younger. Okay? That's what this is. Okay? It's called redox signaling molecules, and there is a gel form of it also, which we're going to have some fun with in a minute. So what can you do about it? You just give your body more of what it had before. Okay? We're going to talk about safety. It's as safe as water. The company backs it with a money-back guarantee. No one tries to just sell anybody anything. We're just giving information here. Okay? So you understand it. But bottom line is, this may be interesting to you. I never see anybody go, wow, that's amazing from what I'm saying. They say, wow, that's amazing when they have a result with the product, right? So why are changes so non-specific? Why is it not isolated to specific body parts? Anybody here diabetic that takes metformin? Anybody take metformin? Okay. When you take metformin, it's Wayne, right? Yeah. You take metformin because you have a blood sugar problem. blood sugar problem is because your pancreas doesn't produce enough insulin, or the cells are resistant to insulin. So if your pancreas is not making enough insulin, it's the cells of your pancreas that are not making enough insulin. So your body doesn't make enough insulin, so you take metformin, which is toxic, because it takes the place of the insulin. But it's toxic, and there's side effects with it, whether you feel it or not. Metformin is a very, it's not a great drug, not that any of them are. But you take it because you don't have a choice, right? Diet's not doing it for you. You're gonna, if you don't do it, your blood sugar's gonna go up, you're gonna have eye disease, you're gonna lose your foot, all these things, right? Okay. But if you take metformin, does it do anything for your wrinkles? Does it do anything for your joint problems? Does it do anything for your mood? Does it do anything for anything else? No, it's for that. If someone's got low mood and they take Prozac, it's for the brain. It's the cells of the brain, the cells of the glands is not making enough serotonin. So when you take medicines, they're specific for problems. When you hear the stories of what this does, and I give you references, it's across the board. Just think about what I told you at the beginning. My friend, my mother's, initially, her joints, her breathing problems, my friend's skin, right? And my friend, his joints and then a skin thing. It's non-specific. Why is it? And I'm not going to get deep into the science, but I'll just put it all up here all at once. 3 major things that we know, and there are double-blind studies on this. It increases our levels of our own antioxidants. Most people don't care. It's very important. If you look up what glutathione is, it's very important. And that affects every part of your body. It has much stronger antioxidants than anything you can get from food. 2, a double-blind, placebo-controlled study proves that it turns our genes back on as we age. So our genes don't just control our eye color and our height. Our genes are like little blueprints telling our cells which proteins to make. So your liver cells, the genes, and your DNA are telling your cells, sorry to explain this, telling your cells in the liver what type of proteins to make to have healthy liver cells. And that is called genetic expression, and it goes down as we age. Double-blind study proved that it turns the genes back on. So a young boy who's 10 years old, the father's 30, and the father dies at 50 of a heart attack, the grandfather died at 50 of a heart attack, what do you think the little boy, as he's aging, is worried about? He's got bad genes, but the genes are turning off. This is proven to turn the genes back on. And this is the one I'm going to show you, spend a little time on real quickly. It amplifies signaling to the immune system. And if the immune system can hear clearly when bad cells are present, it can respond robustly. So I'm going to hold it like this. Can you hear me? Let's say these are healthy cells in my prostate. It's fine, they're healthy. Let's say these are healthy cells in my pancreas. If I have healthy cells in my pancreas, what do I not have? I don't have diabetes because I got healthy cells. I also don't have cancer because if I have a mutating cell in my pancreas and it slips through the cracks and the immune system doesn't kill it, what's it going to become? It can become a tumor and cancer, right? But we all have cells that are mutating right now, but we don't all get cancer. But you see more cancer as we get older. But that's not the only thing that can make a cell bad is mutating. It could be you could fall off your bicycle and break your bone cell. Your body has to get rid of that bad cell and replace it with a good one. You have a mutating cell in your pancreas, your body has to get rid of that bad cell and replace it with a good one. And it's happening now. Just, we're not thinking about it. It's the miracle of life. I mean, it's just incredible that it's happening. Also, cells get old and they die. Your skin cells last like 28 to 45 days, and it's all new skin. That skin that you're looking on me is dead, actually. But it was beneath here like 30 days ago coming to the surface. But your bone cells die too. They last 7 to 10 years. It's the longest cells we have, except the lens of your eye and a woman's eggs. You have them forever. That's why everybody will have cataracts one day, because our bodies do not replace lens of the eye cells. So how does the body get rid of this bad cell? It gets a signal that the bad cell is there. Redox molecules amplify signaling. I look like I have cerebral palsy here. I'm sorry the way I'm standing, but I'm trying to do this with, I usually have my head mic. So, bad cell exists, whatever. It's old and dying, it's mutating, you had an injury. The immune system comes down, they're like millions of little ambulances waiting for an emergency call. Comes down, kills the cell, tells it to kill itself, dissolves it, the debris gets carried away in the lymph system and you urinate it out. And then the good cell replicates itself. Okay? So where does the signal come from? The good cell calls for help. Help, help. All the cells that are around the bad one, they're touching each other, they're signaling each other. This one's not functioning right. So it's called, I have a mutating cell in my pancreas right now. Help, help. The immune system comes down, kills the cell, gets rid of it, good cell takes its place. What do redox molecules do? They amplify signal. So when you have a lot of redox molecules, the signal is loud. So when you're a kid and you have a cell mutating, help, help. When you're 40, help, help. When you're 70, help, help. When you're 80, help, help. This amplifies signaling. It doesn't cure you, it doesn't heal you, it amplifies signaling. So look at the top, where it says, why are changes so non-specific? It doesn't matter. Let's say Bob, I'm not saying anything. Let's say Bob falls down on his back and he's clutching his chest. What do we think is happening? What are we going to do? Call 911, and they're going to ask a couple things. What's the problem? Is he stable? And what's the most important thing they have to know? What's the address? Where is the problem? They come, let's say his heart stops, God forbid, they paddle him, they save his life, take him to the hospital. Did I save his life? No. Did the phone save his life? No. The emergency service people saved his life. But if I didn't have good signal, who's coming? He remains on the ground. It's the same thing in the body. You have a bad cell. If that signal is not received, it sits there. And if it's your joints, you got joint problems. If it's your liver, you got liver problems. If your retina, you can't see. If the immune system gets the signal, it can respond. That's the beauty of this. Does the emergency services care if he's a man or a woman? Does it matter? Are they coming? Does it matter if he's white or black or Asian? Doesn't matter. Your immune system doesn't care what kind of cell this is. Does that make sense? It just doesn't matter. The immune system gets the signal, it does what it's supposed to do. Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to get to the fun part here. This is just the information stuff. We're going to have fun. So lots of studies. I'm not going to go through all the studies. If we had time, I could show you one. But these are all studies being done. You can go to, for the science people, go to PubMed. Who's interested in science, deep science? Anybody? Go to PubMed.gov and put in redox signaling molecules. And go to gettingyoungerclub.com and click deeper science and research. It all comes down to this, validating it. How many people, don't be serious and raise your hand. If you don't raise your hand. How many people would like to live younger, longer? Okay. So this is pretty important stuff, what I'm saying, because would you agree if it's true, it's something you probably want and the people you love, if it's true? Well, the only way to prove it to you is to validate it yourself. So why do people validate it, how to validate it, and time needed to validate it? One, people want to know if they want to know it's real, to know it's worth their money to spend money on. You know, people take vitamins, they don't feel it because they believe that it's doing something. And if they're good vitamins, they do. There's a lot of vitamins don't do anything. They just go in one end and out the other. You never get anything out of it. But you want to know it's real. People want to know it's real before they recommend it to somebody. I mean, if you're standing here and I'm saying, hey, for things that hurt, this is amazing, you're probably not going to call your friend and say, hey, I know you can't even walk, your back's killing you, you got to try this stuff. But if you had an experience with it, you probably would. And then the people that were entrepreneurial, for whatever reason, they want to leave a legacy for their family, earn residual income, make a difference, whatever, they want to know it's real before everybody else. Okay? How do you validate it? You can validate it with studies, but by far and away, a personal experience is the most important thing. Okay? And that's what I want to focus on here. How much time do you need to validate it? The drink, you baseline everything in your health, and you give it 90 days. And it's 4 to 8 ounces a day. I'll go through it. 4 to 8 ounces, 4 to 8 ounces a day. You baseline everything. your energy, your sleep, your libido, your blood sugar if you've got a problem, your weight, skin problems, breathing problems, ringing in your ear. Every little thing, the way you are today, you baseline it and you give this 90 days. I'll go through that in a minute. And you just track your progress and watch what happens. The gel doesn't take that long. I'm going to say this twice. Anybody who wants to know if this is real can know that it's real in 10 minutes. You don't need 90 days. 10 minutes. It takes 10 minutes to know that it's real. If someone's motivated, if you're not motivated to know that it's real, you'll find out it's real later. Okay? And that's what I'm going to go over in a minute. There are people who can vouch, I'll get over this in a second. People, is anybody here of live cell microscopy? Anybody ever hear of that? It's looking at live cells under a special kind of microscope, special field microscope. People that have that type of microscope, they can validate it by before, drink some ASEA, 30 minutes later, watch what happens to the blood cells. Okay? People that have thermographic cameras, this is a $50,000 thermographic camera. It measures heat. We're not talking about inflammation. We don't talk like that. We'll just say heat. This person's hand was hurting them. Put the gel on, 10 minutes later it wasn't hurting anymore. Oh, placebo? No, take the picture, you can see. So you're validating that, yeah, low back, 10 minutes later, feeling better. This woman had radiation in her breast year before. She was coming to this acupuncturist for acupuncture. The acupuncturist, let's try the gel first. Rubs it on, look at the difference. Look at the difference in the heat. Okay? There's no menthol in here. This stuff is made from salt and water. There's no toxicity to this. Anybody here do acupuncture? Okay. It's chakras, meridians, all that. There's a device called a biowell scanner that kind of measures that. This may sound woo-woo to everybody else, but it's not. Acupuncture's worked for 4,000 years. First time I saw someone have general anesthetic with needles, I was like, oh my God, that person is having, like, their abdomen's being cut open and they just had needles in certain spots and they don't feel it. It works. This measures the energy meridians. This person's out of balance. This was just a few minutes after putting the gel on the throat, on the vagus nerve. But you can validate it with a camera. This is Rosie, she's 84. Does that look like a well woman? Her son gave her this product. She didn't want to drink it. She didn't think it was really doing anything, so we started taking pictures of her. And she started feeling better. What do you think her outlook, what do you think she thought the rest of her life was going to be like? Quality. Look at her 3 years later. We all have potential to be much healthier. I'm going to give you an example before I go on. Let's say, what was your name, Gail?
Yeah.
Let's say you go over to, what's your name?
Judy.
Jean. Let's say Judy, you go to Judy's house, okay, you're visiting, and she's upstairs, she goes to bed, and you go downstairs and you want to read, so you take a book out and you're reading a book, and the light's not very bright, and you're struggling to read, you're sitting there, you're like, all right, well, this is as good as it gets. This is as good as it gets, she's thinking. You're thinking this is as good as it gets. Judy comes downstairs and says, Gail, what are you doing? She goes, I'm reading. She goes, well, it's dark in here. Why don't you turn the dimmer up? She goes and she pushes the dimmer up. And you're like, wow, now you're not struggling. You're like, okay, thank you. You thought that bulb, that was as good as it gets. You had no idea that it had potential if it was given what it needed, more electricity. She had no idea. 99.9% of the people in the villages in Florida, in the United States, they have no idea they have the potential to be much better with a breakthrough that a pharmaceutical company and several have wanted to buy. So how else can you validate it? Just take pictures. These are just wrinkles, but what's skin made up of? Cells. And they have a whole skincare line to potentiate all of that. Just take pictures. If you take pictures of yourself and you see this, no one can tell you it doesn't work because you see it, right? We're gonna show you some other things. So here's 28 days and 4 months. Skin is cells, but so is your pancreas, so are your blood vessels. Everything's made up of cells. And when you were younger, you had nicer skin. By the way, take pictures of scars. Take pictures of everything. This is how you validate it yourself, okay? This, everybody thinks this is the surface of the moon. This is the top of my friend's head in Arizona. And he golfs a lot, but you can see the difference. Pictures don't lie. Women reported that their cellulite got better. And again, if this is all the product did, I would not be standing here telling you to learn about it. I mean, nobody wants cellulite, but I don't get excited about telling people how to get rid of it. But the company sent the product back to a lab in Germany that did the wrinkle test I'll show you, testing, and it shows it does, it works. Okay, so I'm not showing this to say, hey, buy this because it gets rid of cellulite. I'm just giving you examples of how you can validate it yourself. Okay, before we have our little fun thing on the board here, let's talk about safety. Now we're going to talk about why it's made from salt and water. So, it's not a drug, it's native to the body, it's in you already, and it's derived from saline. So it gives it some pretty interesting safety benefits. We'll talk about safety versus medications. We'll talk about safety for athletes that have to worry about banned substances. We'll talk about safety for diet restrictions, and we'll talk about safety for the wallet. Most important, you have a health issue. I used to write prescriptions every day. You know, I have to say, Gail, what medications do you take now? Why do I ask her that? I want to know what she's taking in case, well, I did this backwards, because I might have to write her a medication at the end of the day. I need to know what she's on. I also ask you, what's the first thing they ask you on the form? Are you allergic to anything? Right? Because if I wrote penicillin for you, and you didn't tell me you were allergic, you'd go home, I could kill you. So medicines have dangers. I could kill you if you were allergic to peanuts. If I gave you a peanut, I could kill you, right? So remember this, because this is very, very different. Okay, what else? Medicines are toxic. That's why they're dosages. What do people take for a headache here? If you have a headache, what do you take? Aspirin?
Willow bark.
What is it?
Willow
bark. Good, that's good. Medicines. Aspirin, Tylenol, ibuprofen, Advil. Okay. If you have a headache, how many Tylenol are you supposed to take? 2. If you have a really bad headache, do you say, I'm going to take 20? Why don't you? Because it's not supposed to be in your body. It's not supposed to be there. Your liver is metabolizing and trying to get rid of it, and if you take too much, your liver can't keep up, and the toxicity builds up, and your liver's going to shut down. And you have other problems too. You'll overdose on everything. So let's talk about ASEA. How many people of the 8 billion people on this planet can be allergic to it? None. Nobody can. Your dogs and your cats can't. Nobody can be allergic to it because it's in you already. Interactions. You don't have to stop taking your medicines. How many people in this room take something every day? Some medicine. What percentage of people in the villages do you think take something every day? A lot. Well, they don't have to worry about it because it doesn't interfere with anything. It's in you already. Toxicity. It's not toxic. Every medicine has something called an LD50. Everyone has it. Every aspirin has it. Your Lipitor has it. Your heart medicine has it. Your chemotherapy has it. Everything you take has an LD50. You know what it stands for? Lethal dose 50. If I'm Pfizer and I go to the FDA and say I have a medication that I want to put through trials for humans now, we put animals through it, you know what's the first thing they ask me? What's the LD50? At what dosage, Pfizer, did that medicine kill 50% of the rats? They find that number and they titrate down, dilute, till it kills an acceptable number of rats. This is truth. I'm not making this up. This is all true. But we're all conditioned to just take the pill because the doctor says it's okay. Doctor says it's okay. Doctors aren't stupid, but doctors are unaware of a lot of things. There's no way. I didn't know any of this stuff. At least I know that I don't know 99% of things in the world, health-wise. I don't know most things, but I know what I know. Doctors very often they're too busy to investigate everything. Okay, what about ASEA? There is no LD50. They couldn't find one. If you drink too much of it, your body turns the rest of it back into salt and water. And I'll get to the salt and water thing in a minute. For athletes, it's produced in an FDA-registered production facility, NSF certified, NSF sports certified, and the World Anti-Doping Association approved, agency approved. So athletes don't have to worry about it. We have Olympic gold medalists on it. I'm not an athlete, but I'm 63 years old and I feel like I'm 30. you don't have to be an athlete to have the benefits. And I'll show you, one of the things that you track as you're on this is your energy level, your vitality. How many sets of pickleball can you play? How many sets of tennis can you play before you're exhausted? How far can you run before you're exhausted? You know, how many laps can you swim before you're exhausted? And then when you're exhausted, how long does it take for your blood pressure to get back to normal? Because for recovery benefits, okay? How about diet restrictions? Certified kosher, certified halal, gluten and dairy free, and there's very little sodium in it. People say, my doctor says don't drink it. It's salt water, it's salt in it. Well, just have your doctor read the label. It's 125 milligrams of sodium in a daily amount. There's more sodium in a glass of milk, okay? So that. Safety for the wallet. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and nice people can get their product for free. This is where someone, I've been there twice, and I said, I'm nice, can I have some? When I say nice, you just pay it forward. You know, if you end up ordering this product, as I'm not talking about the business side of this, you order as a customer, you get the product, you can get a discount on it. But if you share it with people, the company will pay you, because they spend no money on advertising. All the money that will go to advertising, drug reps. Anybody, my wife watches Hallmark. Anybody here watch Hallmark? Good God, how many drug ads are on there? It's just drug ads. The biggest advertisers, it's drugs. Look at everything you watch. All the money that will go into marketing, that goes to us. 38.5% of every dollar the company makes goes to us. You share it with somebody, every time that person orders product, the company pays you. Every time. Well, the ripple effect is those people can tell people, and they can tell people. So you can create a business out of this if you want to. I'm saying this because you can get your product for free. Because a lot of people say, insurance doesn't pay for it, I'm not getting it. This is a breakthrough for humanity. It's like, you know, does insurance pay for your organic lettuce if you choose to buy organic vegetables because it's better for you? They don't pay for that. It's because you're taking care of your health. It's being proactive. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to get to the salt and water thing, but we're going to have some fun. So can I ask the people that had something hurting them, could you raise your hands for me? Okay, raise your hand. Let's say who has something hurting anywhere in their body. Come up front. Come up front. Come up front. All right. Everybody who's something hurting. What's your name? Nancy, stay here. Dan. Where's Linda? Linda, I need you up here. I'm sorry. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a little fun. Let's have everybody. I'm going to give you all. I want you to just line up right here in a line. Okay, just some. Nancy, come on over here. Somebody come right over here. Okay, here's one. Okay, you got yours. There's one. Just line up this way and face that direction. And I'm going to give each of you this. Okay, everybody, see. Go down the line. There's one for you. You got one. There's one for you. There's one for you. There's one for you. All right, maybe two more. Hold on. This is the fun part, guys, and this is what people are doing all over the world, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have each of you just tell us where you're hurting. We don't use the word pain. That's a medical term. How many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people. Okay, and I want everybody else to watch this, and I'll bet there's some new people here that have something hurting, but you didn't feel like volunteering, and that's okay. Because when this is done, you're going to say, give me mine. All right, now, do I know any of you? Never met any of you. Okay. So all I'm going to ask you to do is you're going to state your name. We'll just start right here. Just state your name, what part of your body hurts, and on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the level? So it says N for name, B for before, A for after. Because in 10 minutes, I'm going to ask you how you feel. And the one thing we have to agree to do is you just do exactly what we say with this, is basically you're going to put it on 3 times in the first 5 minutes. So whatever hurts you, you're going to rate it now, it's a 6 out of 10. You're going to shake it up, you're going to put it on, it's going to dry, you're going to put it on 3 times in 5 minutes, and in 10 minutes you're going to come back up here, line up the exact same way, and you have to swear to God or promise whoever that you will be honest. If it's not better, you will tell me it's not better. But if it is, you're going to be honest and say, hey, it was a 7, now it's a, I don't know, maybe it's a 2. But just be honest, okay? All right, I'm not hypnotizing you, I'm just telling you, okay? All right, so we'll start right here.
My name is Jim. The most accessible pain I have is left elbow and right.
Okay. What number is the elbow? What number is the hand?
This is usually
Right now.
okay, 5-ish.
5. Okay. And the hand.
Very often 7. Pushing 8.
Right now.
What, 8?
7 or 8. 7 or 8 on the hand. So it's the elbow is the 5, and the hand. Okay. All right. Grab a seat if you can. Go ahead. You put yours on the first time, and then you'll do it. Shake it 3 times in the 5 minutes, and in about we'll give it 15 because I got to get down the line here. But we'll be done with this whole thing. Will be done in 15 minutes. Okay. Okay. What's your name?
Jane,
Jane. What hurts?
on my lower back,
What number? Now.
7.
Jane, back 7. All right, shake it up and go have fun. All right.
Elliot, knee, probably 8.
Elliot's knee is an 8. Okay, Elliot, you got it?
How-
Just shake. It's clear. It's made from salt and water, by the way. You'll see there's no smell, there's no greasiness. It's like it's going to feel like nothing. In fact, let me just show you something. I know he wants to do it. There you go. I'm putting it on my face. Oh, I got my glasses on. So, this is how safe this is. This is marketed for wrinkles. Because pictures I showed you was because of this. Okay? So it's safe. So you shake it up, put a good amount on, all the way around your knee, circumference all the way around. Let it dry. Take a minute or 2. Do it again. Do it 3 times in 5 minutes. Okay? All right. We're gonna rock and roll.
My name's Jenny, I have hand pain, I have a 4, both hands.
Jenny, both hands? Okay, so you got both hands. I'm gonna give you, here, I'm gonna give you the first one of mine, because you got 2 hands. That's your first one. Just rub that everywhere it hurts on both hands. By the way, if you want to see this work even better, you're gonna be stunned by this. I do this all over the world. No, here, take this one. I do this in Asia, I've done it in Europe, and everybody's the same. Some of them don't speak any English, but I can see, they just break the numbers down in whatever language, and we see what happens. If you want it to work a little bit better, everybody that's doing this, also put a little bit right here. There's a nerve here called the vagus nerve. And it's on both sides, and vagus in Latin means wander. It's called the wanderer. It impacts so much, it impacts your anxiety, it impacts a lot of things. Let's put a little bit there too if you want. It seems to augment, make it work better. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Don, and I got pain in my shoulder and my back, and then both of them are 4.
Okay, so your shoulder, okay. There's an extra one. Shake them up good, okay? All right.
What was your shoulder?
Both are a 4.
Dan, I've got swelling in my legs and feet.
It hurt?
Yes.
What hurts? Both of them hurt? Okay, which one is worse? Same? Left one. So you're gonna put it on your left. Okay, so I'm gonna give you another one. Okay, so I want you to put a good amount. You take your sock and your shoe off, roll up your pants, get it all over the ankle or wherever it's hurting you, okay? And do it 3 times in 5 minutes, okay? All right.
Nancy. And I just developed actually the tenderness into my leg. When I touch on palpation.
When you touch it, it hurts. Only when you touch it. Okay, so when you touch it, what's the number?
It's about a 4 or 5.
Okay, it's leg, touching it, right leg, it's a 4 or a 5. Okay, go have fun. Shake it up.
Judy, lower back,
Number.
4.
Judy, back, 4. Okay? All right, last one.
Cheryl, and I've had 2 knee replacements in my right knee, and there's a specific joint that hurts in my right knee, and it's number 8.
But you have a fake joint in there.
I do.
It still hurts.
Yes.
Well, when was the surgery?
3 years ago.
Okay, so what I want you to do is do that, but put a good amount on. Okay? No, put a good amount on, and also put it right here. Okay? All right, everybody. Thanks. And give Linda a hand. We're going to bring her back up again. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so we'll have everybody come back up in a few minutes, and you won't promise. Just be honest, because this is how we can open minds pretty quickly. And let me tell you, when you come to know that this is all that it is, somebody hurting back there? What?
I have a question.
I'm gonna answer questions at the end, is that okay? And I have to tell you, I will probably answer it as I finish. But if I don't, we're gonna do Q&A, okay? Okay, so why is it made from salt and water? Those of you who go home and you tell your brother, your sister, your family members, whatever, and they go on Google, it's just salt water. I'm gonna explain to you why it's made from salt water. You look at the label, it says ingredients, sodium chloride and water. 125 milligrams of sodium, more sodium than a glass of milk. Okay? Why? Did you know that your cells are filled with salt water? How many people knew that? You're filled with saline. When you cry, what does it taste like? When you sweat, what does it taste like? Why do you think it tastes that way? Right? When you go to the hospital, and they give you an IV, do they give you water? What do they give you? Saline, sodium chloride, right? Why? Because our cells are filled with saline. When you're dehydrated, you need salt water, because that's what your cells are filled with, sodium chloride and water. Well, inside the cell floats the mitochondria, which produces the molecule called ATP we talked about, but we also produce these little molecules that are called reductants and oxidants. And the next slide is going to show you exactly. But the body is using what it has to make this. And that's what the company uses. When you go to gettingyounger.club.com, there's a 5-minute video tour of the production facility. You see how they make it. Some of you are coming to a tour. We're having a special day, April 17th. They're going to come see it. How many people have already been there and seen it? Just raise your hand. Look around over there. These people have already been there. They were actually the first ones in the villages to go. That's what I did in 2011. Okay, so is it salt water? No, but it was salt water. The ingredients labels say salt and water because it was made from saline. So saline and salt water, same thing, is sodium chloride. What's that? What is it? Salt. And what's H2O? Water. Together, what is it? Okay. Inside your cells and at the facility, what happens is the molecules get split apart, and now they're separated. So now you've got separate sodium, chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen. This isn't salt. That's not salt. When it's together, it's salt. This isn't water. That's not water. When it's together, it's water in those proportions. But once it's split apart, your body can use those as building blocks to create completely new molecules. If you have an old house and you break it down to brick and you break the bricks out, and then you build something, a chimney for another house, it's not the same thing. You use the bricks as building blocks. Your body uses these as building blocks to make different molecules. So examples. Let's just talk about this one here. H2O2. Does anybody know what that is? Hydrogen peroxide. Anybody have that in their house in a little brown bottle? You pour it on a cut and it bubbles up. Is hydrogen peroxide water? Water is H2O, 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. It's a mini chemistry class. Hydrogen peroxide is 2 hydrogens and 2 oxygens, not 1. But your body makes hydrogen peroxide. You can't go drink your bottle of hydrogen peroxide, but look it up. Your body makes hydrogen peroxide, right? Another way to explain this is, can everybody see, what's that word? Can you read that? There. Everybody look at that word. Is this thing in your way? I just realized it might be in your way. I'm sorry. I'm going to start over. Okay. So look at the word there. Raise your hand if you see other words in that word. Okay? So here's the example when someone says salt water. Remember this, or take a picture of it. Some of you see the word he, her, thee. Does the meaning of the word he, have anything to do with the meaning of the word there? Nothing. What you did was you took the elements of this word, the letters, and you made words with completely different meanings. And that's exactly what happens in your body. Okay? So when these people come back up here, God, please don't make this the one time I don't see it. Just understand, this is the science, and I've got references. You can go into deep science, electron transfer, all of it, but this is what matters to people. I never see anybody get excited about a study. Never. But I see people get excited about what they feel, and that's what I'm going to show you how to feel something. Okay, so We're gonna have that come up in a few minutes. Has everybody put it on 3 times minimum? Good? Okay. Just keep, and if you can put more on if you want. You got it, you can put more on. But 3 times in 5 minutes. And that's not a steadfast thing. You can put it on 30. If I had tennis elbow and it was killing me. I mean, I used the whole tube today. There's no toxicity to it. You mentioned this. Does anybody ever use any kind of creams for pain? Okay, when you go to the drugstore, you ever see the size of the aisle for pain products? Anybody hear of one called Voltaren cream? You ever read it? You ever read what it says on there? Go pick it up and read it, and open up the little flap so you can read everything. It says, may take 10 days to work, and then it says, don't use it for more than 2 weeks. Because it can damage your kidney. Anybody take ibuprofen in here? Or naproxen? Read the label. It says don't take it for more than a month. It increases your chance of heart attack and stroke by 15 to 25%. People don't know. They don't pay attention. They don't have options. This is no toxicity. You could put this on 100 times, and it's not toxic. And it's why the pharmaceutical company wanted to get a hold of this. And the gel wasn't even out back then. The gel came out in 2014. The company's been around since 2009. So first, you want to baseline everything. I already mentioned this. Day 0, before you even start drinking this and putting it on your skin, number 1, take pictures of everything. Skin, hair, nails, spots, everything take pictures because you're going to prove it to yourself. You're just going to check, right? There's a 30-day money-back guarantee on the product. So you got 30 days to have your aha moment. It won't take that long. With the liquid it might, the gel it won't. What's your energy level? Rate it. How well do you sleep? Rate it. How many times you get up to go to the bathroom at night? That's more men, prostate problems. Focusing problems, memory problems, attention problems. How would you say that is? You know, a mood. You keep taking your medicines. Just this is where you are today. Keep doing yoga, keep doing your pickleball, keep doing everything. Just make this the only thing you're going to do for at least 30 days, give it 90 days. Neurological problems. Maybe your hand shakes. Maybe you got somebody had numbness in their feet. So you baseline everything. Digestive problems, eye issues, ear issues, maybe hearing, ringing in your ear, breathing problems, sinus problems, allergy problems. Are you overweight? What's your weight? Do you have a blood sugar problem? What's your blood sugar in the morning? Pressure, sex drive. I've heard there's a lot of sex drive in the villages. Everybody around the world. Everybody around the world says the village. That's all they know about the villages. I know it's the coolest place. They're like, oh well, like no, that's no. Urban legend, right? Discomfort in the body. Okay, well, watch what happens here in a minute. Stress. Now, I know the village is a very low stress place compared to the rest of the world. The world's kind of crazy right now, but you know, baseline stress. And also think about people you love, right? Athletic performance. How many sets of tennis can you play? How many holes of golf can you hit? Just baseline. How much weight do you lift if you lift weights? You're baselining everything. Then what? Stay well hydrated. You're going to detox. You want to drink a lot of water during the day. 2, don't mix it with anything. That comes with a little 2-ounce cup. It comes in these bottles. And there are these little pouches, actually, that are sports pouches. You're not supposed to drink out of the bottle. When this stuff comes in contact with anything organic, it starts turning it back into salt and water. Okay? It destabilizes it. Metal will do that, so don't put it in a metal pan for your dog. Put it in a glass thing. Don't put it in a teaspoon, okay? And don't drink out of the bottle, because it'll weaken it. Every time you use it, you go through about a bottle a week. I go through 2. People go through 1 to 2 bottles. But pour it in the cup, put the cap back on it. They have these sports pouches, because athletes don't want to carry that around. It has a one-way valve in this nipple, so you can suck on it and the saliva will not go back in. You can order it either way. In fact, tonight, I think at the end, I'm not going to sit here and talk about how to buy it and everything. There'll be people on the back that if you're interested, you can. And the people who do order it tonight, I think they're giving away like a free pouch so you can get started on it. Okay, hold it in your mouth for 30 seconds before you swallow it. It gets into your bloodstream through diffusion really well. It gets into your mouth, your esophagus, your stomach wall. So hold it for 30 seconds. If you have mouth problems in your gums or your teeth, I had one that they swore I was going to have it pulled and an implant put in, and now they can't find the problem anymore. Hold it for longer. I hold it for 60 seconds. Okay? Now, here are the expectations. The first week, you drink 1 bottle. That's 4 ounces a day. By day 7, you went through about 1 bottle. What percentage of people say, oh my God? About 15%. It's probably a little more, I'm conservative. 15% say hallelujah. They're happy, but they're a little bit dangerous. Because Gail, let's say you had a severe problem and in a week you were like, oh my God, this works. You're gonna think about people you love. And you're gonna say, here, take a bottle, drink it, drink it. They're gonna follow the instructions. What % chance do they have that they're gonna see something happen? What's the fail rate? 85% fail rate. Okay, so I do Zooms every week and I go through this to explain, because I want, if you invite someone to learn about this, I want them to know proper expectations. Just because you had a fast response doesn't mean they're going to. So the 85% of people should change and go to the Magic 8 temporarily and stay there until they see their shift. So now they're drinking 2 bottles a week. That's why, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So that's why what people order initially, get enough to be able to double temporarily, because 85% of people need to double it to see something happen. And even if they do that, by day 30, it's about 60% of people have seen a shift here. 60. That leaves 40% that still haven't seen anything. This is why you want to go 90 days. Okay? This is why you want to go 90 days, because 90% of people by day 90 are believers. Okay? So it's an important number. Just remember it. So then people say, well, why don't they guarantee it for 90 days? Because they don't have to. Because we're going to do this, what we just did with the Magic Gel. Marketed for wrinkles, remember? But we said, we're going to just try it for people that are hurting. Right? So there it says 3 times in 5minutes.com. Assess the level of hurting scale of 1 to 10. We did that. Apply the gel 3 times in 5 minutes. We did that. And now it's 10 minutes. We're going to ask them how they feel. So could all those people come back up here and line up, if you can, the same way you lined up? And if you're not better, I just want you to be honest with me, because I'm going to tell you something to tweak. You have to tell me. And I'm not telling you that everybody's going to go to a 0. But just remember, this was 15 minutes ago we had everybody up here. So we lined up, we got Jim, Jane, Elliot, Jenny, Don, Jan, Nancy, Judy, Cheryl on the end. So the far end, Cheryl and Judy, Nancy, Jan, Don, Jenny.
Oh, Dan, I'm sorry.
Dan. I think we're pretty close. It's, from this end, it's Jim, Jane, Elliot, Jenny. Okay. All right, so Jim, your elbow was a 5 and your hand was a 7 or an 8. Did you notice anything?
I like the cooling effect. It does feel better. I'd say a notch down for each one.
On both of them, a notch, just a notch.
Yeah.
Put it on 3 times.
I did 2 thick layers.
Okay, well, do it again. If you could, when you go back, just do it again afterwards and tell me. Sometimes it takes more, but 3, if you do 3, well, I'll tell you the expectations on this. I told you the expectations with the drink, but do it 1 or 2 more times. We'll put it right here as well. Okay? And then let me know in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Okay, just a notch. You said a notch. Okay. Jane, you were a 7.
Yeah, I'd say I'm probably like a 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Really aggravated my back in the last 2 days.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's giving you some relief from a 7 to a 4. Okay, that's good. Now you still have some left. You can keep using it, and when you get to the end, you can cut the tube open and scoop a bunch out. A bunch stays inside of it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Give her a hand, please. And Jim. All right. So we got Elliot.
I did about 4 times, really massaged it in, I'd say maybe 2.
So you were at 8, and now it's a 2.
Yeah, felt great.
You're surprised?
Yeah.
Thank you. Give him a hand. Thank you. I do this so, again, all I talked about was studies and sodium and chloride, and it doesn't make any difference. This is so duplicatable to do this with people, okay? Okay, Jim.
Left hand is a 0, and the right hand is probably just less than 1.
So went from 4 on both hands to a 0 and less than a 1. Are you happy you came?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, thank you. Another village's believer. Okay. All right, so we got Don, Dan, and Nancy. Don, hold on, you were a shoulder and a back was a 4. Any change for you?
My shoulder doesn't hurt at all, and my back is probably a 1.
Surprised? Salt and water. Right? Pretty cool. No, you can't. Not. It's patented. You know what? That's a good thing is I mix it together. So when people, skeptics, if they see 9 out of 10 people say wow, which is generally what it is, 9 out of 10, in 10 minutes, you know, you'd have to be a real cynic to think it's a placebo. But, you know, then go ahead and rub salt water on 10 people 3 times in 5 minutes. What a cute dog. All right, so this is Dan. Dan, your feet were swollen and they hurt, right?
Yes. And my left was worse than my right.
That's the one that you put it on.
Yes.
So his left was worse than his right, and he just put it on the left, and now what are you feeling now?
Left is better than the right now.
So it was a 4. This is good to do when someone has something bothering on both sides, shoulder, neck, back, leg, foot. I tend to say which one's worse, because sometimes if the change is subtle, they don't know. So 4, 3. But if one was worse than the other, and all of a sudden it flips, you know that it actually worked. But what number would you say it is?
Probably 2.
Okay, that's great. That's half. Thank you very much. Give him a hand. Okay. Nancy. Nancy was your.
Right leg when she grabbed it, tenderness. When it was a 4, I think before, I very little at this point, maybe a 1 at that.
And it was only when you touch it, right? Palpate it.
When I try and palpate it now, it really doesn't bother me.
Are you a nurse?
This will go.
Okay. Because you use the word palpate, I know that means touch. Thank you so much. Thank you. And by the way, there's a physical therapist on the medical board, as a matter of fact. Okay? Okay, so we got 2 left. We got Judy and Cheryl.
Okay, mine was lower back, and right now it's between 0 and a 1.
It was a 4 and it's a 0 to a 1, right? How long does it last? It lasts as long as I hypnotize you. No. It can last hours, it can last days. The longer you're on the drink, the less you need the gel. Now remember, this is just for things that hurt. This is the gift that we have. This product, if you look, it's marketed for wrinkles. It rejuvenates, health of body rejuvenates skin cells. But nobody knows. And I never claimed that it was going to work, did I? I never said it was going to work. I say watch what happens to an average of 9 out of 10 people, because I can't claim it's going to work on anybody. I never said it was going to work, right? You have to prove it to yourself. Take control of your health. Do your own investigation. When you order it, either as a customer or as a distributor, you have 30 days to do whatever you want with it, because there's a money-back guarantee on it, okay? Give her a hand. Thank you so much. Okay, knee implant, right? Now, this one I wasn't 100% sure, so you were at 8. What does it feel?
It's a 4 now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ready to a 4.
I mean, it's a specific spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even if you need to have it redone, if someone says, well, I have to have a hip replacement, will they keep me from having a hip replacement? I'll say, I don't know. But even if you need the hip replacement, do you think you'd heal faster if you have the hip replacement at 20 or 70? 20. Well, a 20-year-old has more of this in them. That surgery is a trauma. It's an injury to the body, right? So anyway, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I had foot surgery 2.5 weeks ago. I have no pain, no swelling, and I'm healing. The stitches are out, and there's nothing there. It's just no scar or anything. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Vanna White. So this is patient 0 in the villages. How many people live in the villages? 150,000 people. Her friend in Maryland called her about this, and we say patient 0, just angel 0. You and Don are the first ones. Bob, did it do anything for you? I don't know. We did that a while ago. It was quite a while ago. Your finger?
It feels a little bit better, yeah.
Yeah, a little better? Okay. It was your finger and your back, right? All right. So normally I'd have people come up and just share testimonials, but it's getting a little bit late, and I want to get to questions. So let me just finish this. But really important, first of all, when you order it, don't order it online. Order it through an official distributor. There's counterfeit product online. There's expired product online, and a distributor can show you how to get it cheaper than online because you get rebates on it. So just to do that. But myredox.info, I made this form that you can just kind of fill out, and there's FAQs on there with doctors answering questions about all the products. The company has 15 products.
Okay, so, remember I told you the genetic expression study?
Just real quick, for the science people that raised their hand, this is Tory Labs. They did an 8-week double-blind placebo-controlled study. They gave the group with the ASEA 8 ounces a day, and they gave the other group saline 8 ounces a day. And they wanted to see if it would turn genes back on, mapped genes. Every person who drank ASEA, every single one had 5 important genes turned back on. I'll show you one of them in a second. But the one gene controls. I told you genes control everything. But not one person who drank the placebo had their genes turned on. 8 weeks, 8 ounces a day. They went right to the 8, they didn't do the 4. Okay, what do these genes control? Bucket list of things. Vascular health. Do you see a lot of heart attacks in young people? No. You see a lot of peripheral vascular disease in young people? No. Why? Because the genes haven't turned off, one reason. Digestive problems more common as people as they age. Hormone problems more common in people as they age. Inflammation. You just saw it, more common in people of age. The innate immune system. Do you know we have 2 immune systems? One is called the innate immune system. It deals with pathogens. You know what pathogens are? Bacteria, viruses. So let's say a virus spreads around the world and everybody's freaked out about it. Who's more at risk? Children, younger people, or older people? Why? Why older people? Well, their genes have turned off. These are mapped genes. The ones that control the immune system get turned back on. So you got to connect the dots here. We can't say this boosts your immune system. That would be a medical claim. But we can say it turns the genes on that control your immune system, right? So one of the genes is called EGR1. Look what EGR1 controls. Serotonin. What kind of problem do you have if you don't have enough serotonin? Yeah, right? And you take the medicine for it. A lot of people, as they age, they don't remember things very well. That's brain function. How about people that don't sleep well? Circadian rhythm is controlled by that. Nerve2 is inflammation and oxidation. Ovarian infertility genes, human thyroid stimulating hormone, insulin signaling. This is big stuff. This is a breakthrough. And this is why that pharmaceutical company wanted to get it. And they only knew part of this back then. This double-blind study wasn't out then. Then they said, are these permanent? Like, how long does it last? So the companies said, all right, let's get these people off the product and see what happens. So right at week 8, they said, stop cold turkey. And at week 16, they just went back to exactly where they were. So if you want the benefit of the product, if you want the benefit of the product, you drink it. If you want to keep getting the benefit, you keep drinking it. You just go back to where you were. So remember, my cells are making this much. I drink this much. If I stop drinking, my cells are still making this much because it has to make ATP. My cells have to make ATP. So it's not like, anybody ever take steroids, like prednisone, right? What do they tell you when you go to stop it? You can't stop it cold turkey, right? Because your body stops, your adrenals stop making it. So if you stop, you could die. Your body doesn't stop making it because it has to make ATP. So it's a beautiful system. It really is how it works. So hopefully I've kind of explained this, and you can do more research on this. I just recommend just doing the research on yourself and seeing it happen. But it's something that's inside of us. It's not a toxic medication. Now, I don't have time to go through the other products really. So they have other products that are Redox product focused on energy, mood, mind, and there's a collagen precursor, Redox collagen, because there's no nutritional value to this. Your body needs actual building blocks. This collagen stuff is amazing. This collagen is for skin, hair, and nails. Your nails, if you don't like cutting your nails off, then don't drink it because your nails will grow thicker and faster, and your hair will too. And just take pictures of your skin as well. There's no nutrition to this product. The company has 4 nutritional products, which are amazing. Just don't have time to go into it tonight. And here's the last thing I'll talk about, the skincare. So remember I said the company sent the gel to this lab in Germany, Dermatest? This is what they found in 28 days just with the gel. Just with the gel. Well, they have a whole skincare line of products to augment it. If you're looking younger is important to you, you're gonna love this. If it's not, you're not gonna matter to you, right? They have the Radiance, the collagen precursor. They have a Redox clay mask that you put on, and in 10 minutes, you'll see the change in 10 minutes. It's amazing. It's this thing right here. And there's one other product that is a Redox product that's derived from this, that's twice as strong as this, and it's a different base. It's just twice as strong. It's intensive serum. People generally put it around crow's feet or problem areas. I mean, I put it all over my face. I golf every day. I put the gel on my skin. Okay? I don't usually use sunscreen unless when I first get down to Florida, I do, because I've been up north. But I use this. I use sunscreen on my face. The only place I use that, but I use this. Okay. So let me answer questions real quick. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Let's start right here.
Do you have to stay at that same level for the rest of your life then on a drink?
Do you stay at the same level? So everybody starts at 4 ounces a day, and the only reason I don't have people start at 8 and work back. Remember I said you detox on this? Anybody ever get a massage? What's the first thing they give you when you walk out of a massage? Water. Why? Because you're releasing toxins, or you're squeezing toxins out. When you're made of 70 to 100 trillion cells, your body's going to start turning over cells, and you're going to urinate the garbage out. In fact, your urine might even smell funny at the beginning because you're urinating out toxins. So I would love to start people at 8, and a lot of people do and work back, but detox symptoms could be a headache, could be diarrhea, could be a rash, and it scares people. They think, oh, something's wrong with this stuff. It's not, it's detox. If you follow the instructions about 4 ounces a day and drink water, less than 10% of people will sense the detox is happening. It happens to everybody. So you ask, do you stay on the amount? Well, theoretically, when you're 20 years old, you're producing this much. When you're 40, you're producing this much. 50, 60, you're producing less as you get older. So theoretically, as you get older, the older you are, the bigger you are, the sicker you are, you're probably going to be on 6 to 8 ounces a day, not the 4. And some people do perfectly fine on 4. They stay there. Well, it's a lifetime thing, because if you stop taking it, your body just goes back. You don't have to do it. If I stop, I'm 63. I feel like I'm 30. I don't want to feel 63. When I'm 90, I might want to feel like I'm 63. So literally, this is the one thing I would never give up. And it's nice, it's the drink. But this is so nice to just have it, to be empowered when something happens in the house, someone gets burned, someone's hurting, someone's got a rash, someone's getting bitten by a snake, to have something. I mean, it really is absolutely, it's empowering. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, so is there an optimal time to take the liquid during the day? Should you avoid food at certain times?
Okay, good question. So the people generally take it in the morning when they first get up. Theoretically, it's best on an empty stomach, but we're learning more about it, that it's not as critical as we thought, because it interacts with organic materials. So if you eat a hamburger and you swallow it, then the molecules are turning back into salt and water in your stomach. If you hold it in your mouth for 30 seconds, it's getting into your bloodstream. So theoretically best when it's empty stomach, and within about 4 minutes, it's gone. It's in your bloodstream. You can eat whatever you want to do, right? Now at night, if you just ate and you're like, oh, I didn't take my ASEA, just take it anyway. Just hold it in your mouth, right, for 30 seconds, okay?
I'm a little confused by, is the drink all you really need? Is the other stuff just, for special occasions or something?
Yeah, the bourbon up there, that's the bourbon product for special occasions. Happy Van Winkle, no. So picture, I always like people to really get started with the liquid and the gel and see what changes happen. And then you're like, wow, this really works. Then you have belief in these products, right? And it's kind of like the dimmer switch. Like the blue bottle is called ASEA. It's not called Panacea, right? So there's no omega oils in that. A lot of people take omegas, and let me tell you, anybody here take omega oil? What does it taste like when you burp? Fish? It's not good. It's probably 25% of what it could be. Really good omega oil, if it's fresh, you have that. So you need omegas for that. I had a digestion problem that the liquid did not help. And the nutritionals didn't come out till about 5 years ago. Let's put it this way. We went through a lot of toilet paper in my house. I went to the medical board meeting when they launched this product. I took 3 in that purple bottle there that's called Biome. It's a prebiotic, probiotic. I had tried so many of these things, nothing worked. Next day, I didn't have a problem anymore. In fact, my wife said to me, you know, we always keep toilet paper stacked under the sink in my bathroom. And she goes, are you going to the bathroom somewhere else in the house? I'm like, no, why? Because the toilet paper isn't going down. So and someone has low mood. The blue stuff crosses the blood-brain barrier. So if you have low mood, watch what happens to your mood. Maybe your mood used to be here, then it was here, and you're taking a medication and it's here, and then you add the blue bottle and it's here. It's like, wow, look what that did. Then there's the Redox packets of mood. You can add it to see. So the company would like me to say, have them get everything, but I don't. Just get a lot of we call it the blue and the white, the bottle and the tube, and start. That's my recommendation to start with. Okay. All right. Finally getting to you.
What kind of salt?
What kind of salt? Watch the video at gettingyoungerclub.com. They're going to tell you, but it's pharmaceutical grade Morton's kosher salt. It has to be pure salt, and the water starts as city water, reverse osmosis, deionization, and UV. So it tells you they're bringing it down to like 0.1 per billion parts per billion.
Just one other thing I wanted to add. I go to this dermatologist and I had a tick taken out of my side. It may have been under the skin for 7 days. I didn't think it was a tick. But anyway, he uses saline. He just injects me with saline. He never uses Novocaine. And it numbs. I never feel a thing.
Wow. Never heard of that.
I know.
I never heard of that, injecting saline as an anesthetic.
Doctor in Chicago.
Oh, interesting. I'm going to look that up, actually. I didn't know that.
And all the doctors, if he's not there, all of them do it.
Why were you asking about the type of salt?
I wonder if it was Himalayan or
Oh,
something
no.
like that.
It can't be Himalayan. This has to be made, Himalayan has other minerals in it. Himalayan's great salt, but you cannot make redox molecules from Himalayan salt. It has to be pure sodium and chloride, no other minerals. Okay? Anybody else have any questions? At all? Yeah.
Suppose I'm a skeptic, and I say, why don't I just mix salt and water and get the same results, same efficacy?
Yes, which is the gel.
Component that is this product that.
You know, to make the gel, they concentrate, you'll see it in the video at gettingyoungerclub.com. They concentrate the drink, they double the strength, and then the pH goes up quite a bit. So it would irritate the skin, so they put an inert buffer just to bring the pH down, and they put a clay on it, so when you shake it up, it turns into a gel. So they can't make a cream out of it because cream has carbon, so it would just turn it back into salt and water. But the question is, can I just mix salt and water for problems? Yeah, but try it. yeah. No, really. I mean, it's okay. Look, everybody is skeptical. I don't think anybody is not skeptical about this because it's so different and it sounds too good to be true. And the only way to prove it is for you to see it happen yourself. Okay. Did you have a question too? No. Anybody else have a question? Yeah.
Well, I was talking today about how this has helped my breathing so much.
It was.
It's what?
It's helped my breathing so much. I've been asthmatic since mid-80s, and in about 2.5 weeks, I wasn't using an inhaler. I can't believe it. I did, and my friend today says, well, my husband always has sinus infections. Would it help something like that? And I didn't know the answer.
So there is a website, I'll finish up with one more question, that's it'll be done. When you go to gettingyoungerclub.com, I want you to write this down. If you're thinking of people you love with specific things, with someone who had something happen to their brain and they can't move their arm, or someone's got blood sugar problems, or someone they can't smell anymore, or someone that has terrible headaches, or a child on the spectrum, okay? Just please write this down. At gettingyoungerclub.com, the number 9 says, what about my issue? Because that's what people care about, right? If you don't have diabetes, what do you really care? You don't love anybody with diabetes, what do you care about? It's like, oh, great. But if you know somebody with a child on the spectrum, you darn well are interested to know if it can help. So when you go there, put in the password Redox, lowercase, REDOX. Watch the 7-minute overview video. Write it down, 7-minute overview video. And then you're going to understand how to use the site. And that is the most important thing that I can tell you. I tried to get on the Wi-Fi here, I couldn't, because I was going to show it to you. Just save that. And if you walk out of here and you don't believe anything we're saying, just save that information. Okay? Because one day if something happens in your family, I've had people come back to me that blew me off years ago and they're, David, can you help? Somebody has something happen. You're going to want to know that site. It's people videoed sharing what happened. You just shared what happened with your breathing problem, okay? It's across, you'll find a bunch of exactly what happened with you, okay? And you can look up sinuses and things like that, okay? Who introduced it to you, Gail? Linda. Okay. Was there one more question, I think? We can give people tastes. Most people are not going to say yummy. It'll taste 3 ways. I'm going to get back to Mary. And in the back, people are going to help you if you want to get more information or how to order it. When you drink it, it's either going to taste like water, which means you are very clean. You are not toxic. It'll taste like mild salt water, or it's going to taste a lot commonly like swimming pool water. It's not chlorine, it's called hypochlorite. That's a redox molecule. The more toxic you are, the more it's going to taste like swimming pool water initially. But as you drink water and as you're doing this, your body's going to cleanse itself because your taste buds get affected by toxins in your body. And as you clean out, it's going to taste more and more like water. So usually by the end of a couple weeks to 2 months, it's just tasting like water. I've been known to enjoy bourbon and rye whiskey sometimes. So if we go to a party, like picture a really great Villages party, and I drink a lot of bourbon or rye, the next morning when I have my ASEA, it tastes a little funny again. Because it's telling me, David, you shouldn't have had so much Angel's Envy rye or whatever. So again, a lot of these questions are answered at that website, myredox.info, but we hold people's hands here, right? Everybody is different. Not everybody's going to have the same response with this. And there are ways to, things I didn't even tell you you can do with this product. Different things you can do for different things. And we work as a team to educate people. Yes, there's an opportunity here for people if they're interested. We just want people to know that this is real. If you have no interest in the home-based business part of this, we want you to be a person in the Villages that someone says, hey, have you heard about this ASEA? Yeah, I used it. My breathing is better. This stuff is really amazing. That's all we want. Because if you don't come to know that it's real, you can't tell your friend, who your friend may have a brother who's dying in Chicago right now, and your friend is not going to know, isn't here tonight, right? I'm going to come back here. We'll figure out another time when I come back up here, and I do Zooms every week. I do Zooms. You can plug into it. The person who introduced it to you can plug you into that. Okay? I just want to thank you for your attention. I go really long on these things. I apologize, but I feel like I want everybody to get something about what they need, okay? And I really appreciate your attention, and thank you, Mary, for having me.
Thank you.